Lauren Kirschman. I am the Washington beat reporter for the Tacoma News Tribune.
Hi, Gregg Bell, News Tribune, Seahawks NFL beat writer.
And we're here. We're going to preview the NFL draft for the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Huskies and get you ready for that, which the first round is on Thursday. So I guess first of all, Gregg, for the Seahawks, addressing the pass rush is the priority for this draft. How do you see them addressing that need, and what names are standing out to you?
Well, Lauren, they thought the pass rush, they'd have some clarity. They thought they'd have Jadeveon Clowney re-signed by now in free agency. They thought they'd go get perhaps another free agent like Everson Griffin. They don't have either one. Griffin and Clowney are still unsigned. It's been a saga, of course, with the Clowney situation. But what that does is it changes the priority in this draft. Do they draft, first of all, do they even draft at 27? They have the 27th pick in round one. They have traded away their original first-round pick in 8 straight drafts. I mean, it's like the sun coming up and it raining in Seattle in May. It just happens. It's every season, every year, they're going to trade down. Why do they do that? Well, again, this year, they don't have 24 players rated as first-round picks in this draft. It's more like 17 to 18 to 20. So why their thinking is, we're not going to pay first-round contracts and have to by CBA offering a 5th-year option to a first-round player that we think is a second-round talent. So let's just take a second-round talent in the second round by drafting down, trading down, getting an extra pick in the process, and drafting in the second round. And that, by and large, is why they've done it. I think that's what they're going to do again on Thursday. The problem with that, though, Lauren, is that the pass rush in this draft really drops off after the top 3. Chase Young of Ohio State is going to be probably the 2nd overall pick after Joe Burrow to Cincinnati, if not the 3rd. Clavon Chason of LSU is considered the 2nd best guy and probably won't get past Dallas at 18. And then you have Peter Gross-Matos from Penn State is probably the 3rd best pass rusher, and then it just drops off a cliff. So if one of those 2 guys besides the very best one is available at 27, you probably have to take him. It should be, as I said, a departure for the Seahawks. Or when you trade down, the top 3 would be gone, pass rushers would be gone, and then you go into the secondary, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, running back. They want to restock running back with Chris Carson and Rashad Penny coming off season-ending injuries. But to answer the question in the shortest way is that the Jadeveon Clowney situation has complicated Seattle's draft.
I mean, other than the pass rush, and you kind of mentioned that a little bit at the end there, but what do you consider the Seahawks' biggest need after that in this draft?
They got to get better in the offensive line, Lauren. I mean, anyone who's watched the Seahawks game the last 5 years sees Russell Wilson getting chased around and running with his head cut off. He throws for 4,000 yards with 0 time. I mean, he is the most pressured quarterback in the league the last few years. It's not even close. They have decided philosophically as a team to pay everybody else but the offensive line. They paid the Legion of Boom. They repaid Bobby Wagner, the highest contract at his position. They repaid Russell Wilson, the highest contract in league history, $140 million. They repaid Doug Baldwin before he retired, Michael Bennett. Everyone but an offensive lineman. Dwayne Brown, the only one they've re-signed since they traded for him from Houston a couple years ago. And now he's 35, coming off a knee surgery in December at left tackle. They have issues at left and right tackle. They let Jermaine Ifedi go in free agency, their starter at right tackle the last 3 years. Their rookie pick from 4 years ago. He's now signed with Chicago. His backup, George Fant, also signed in free agency with the Jets. And they brought Brandon Shell in on 2 years and $11 million. That's a stopgap. That's not a long term. One thing that, Lauren, you know this from covering college football, fans, they want to know, well, what the needs are for the Seahawks in this draft in 2020. The Seahawks and all NFL teams don't draft just for this year or this fall. They're drafting for 2021, 22, 23, where contracts are going to be. And for the Seahawks, they're going to lose their potential starting right tackle as of right now, Brandon Shell, after 2 years, and he'll be a free agent. And Dwayne Brown's 35, coming off knee surgery, as I mentioned, with 1 year after this one left on his deal. So your left and right tackles are in flux beyond 2021, and that's where you start thinking about, okay, that's where they could be drafting, especially when they're in the trade down mode. So fans get all bent around what is their immediate need, and it's no doubt it's pass rush. It's going to keep them from getting to the Super Bowl if they don't fix it. But they don't necessarily are drafting just for this year. And the University of Washington is always interesting. the talent that they have, and they have recruited in the last few years among the best in the West Coast in the country. Jacob Eason, of course, Lauren, something of a lightning rod. When I was at the Combine at the end of February, there were 2 distinct camps on him. And you see him, and you've seen him way more than I have. It was the first time I really ever spent time in person with him. He looks the part. 6'5", whatever he is, very strapping, big-shouldered, big arm. When you see him throwing on the field in the Combine and no one's rushing after him, he looks like a first-round pick. The problem, of course, Lauren, is when guys come rushing after him and the decisions he's made in that. What are you hearing and know about the polarizing nature of Jacob Eason as a pro prospect?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a polarizing guy. I mean, if you look at him, like you said, he has everything you want physically. I mean, he's 6'6", he's big, he has an elite arm, probably one of the best arms in the draft. He had one of the best arms in the country this year. But like you said, he really struggled with pocket poise. He struggled when he was under pressure. At Washington, he really just didn't seem to know what to do, and he got himself in trouble a lot in those situations. And you would have liked to have seen last year at Washington some kind of improvement in that area as the season went on. Some kind of sign that he was learning, that he was getting better at it, and it just really never came. And even in the last games of the season were some of his most inaccurate games of the year. So while you saw the arm, obviously, and that talent and that potential that a lot of NFL scouts and NFL teams are going to be intrigued by, there's still that really big concern that he just doesn't have the poise in the pocket. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. He is still an inexperienced guy, which I think goes under the radar a lot. He started as a true freshman at Georgia, and then he started last year at Washington, and those are his 2 seasons really of college experience. So I think there's a lot of development that he can still make, but at the same time, he's an older guy because he had the injury and then he sat out. So there's kind of, for him, kind of the pros and cons all over the place, but I think his potential is going to make a team want to go out and grab him. I've seen mostly late second rounds, third round for him, and I think that's about where I expect him to end up.
Do you think someone reaches for him in round 1?
Yeah, I do. I have seen him even in a few mock drafts being a late first round pick. And I think it's because, like we talked about, he just has, you look at him and he has it. He has the physical attributes. He has the arm. And I think there's so much talent there that I could see a team wanting to grab him, especially a team who maybe can let him develop for a year or 2, let him learn from somebody that's ahead of him. I think he's going to be an intriguing option in that area because they can focus on him, they can help him grow, and then he can come in and play for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if if a team is so intrigued by his talent and what he has physically that they jump on him in the first round.
Lauren, thanks for all your time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Follow us at thenewstribune.com as always. Take care.
Thank you.